Sports episode 821 live on YouTube in 5, 4, 3. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from Los Angeles, California, Joey No Chill Prano.
Good morning, Andy.
Good morning. Happy. Whoa, hot start.
Hot start.
Sorry that. He's got that Major League Baseball opening day cough.
Got that opening day fever.
Yeah.
Got that baseball fever.
Well, I have that baseball opening day. Not going to be a good year for my team. That's what I have. Doesn't roll off the tongue as well.
You're not gonna be one of the just like so many fans we have of this show who are like, this is our year, no matter what's happening. This is our year. Kirk Cousins, man, underrated. Let's go.
Well, I understand fan optimism to start a season, right? Like we see that in sports every year. Like, you never know. This team could surprise some people, which happens, of course, all the time. But no, come on. Like I have been open about my frustration and just, the older I get, it's just like, dude, if you don't care about me, I don't care about you. And that goes beyond sports. So, but I'm obviously in Reds gear and I'm a Reds fan.
I was going to say, says the guy in the throwback Sabo jersey.
Hey, man. Chris Sabo. Legend.
Absolutely.
And again, that was back in the day when you could meet players, as I've said before on the show. Met that former Rookie of the Year at the ground round by where I live doing an autograph signing after.
Really?
Yeah. And this is after he won the Rookie of the Year. I had his Topps card. Just a line forming where he's at the restaurant and he had a table set up and he was taking pictures. I got to find it. I have the Polaroid somewhere. A first grade Andy Ruther with missing teeth smiling as
That's hilarious.
Met the Reds Rookie of the Year that year, Chris Sabo. So, yeah, those are things that we can cherish as older guys that that the young kids don't get, like autograph signings, meet and greet with.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine Pete Alonso sitting at a restaurant after he won Rookie of the Year?
Peanut shells under his feet at the ground round.
Yeah. that was, I think the ground round was like a peanut shell type place.
Oh yeah.
Was that a chain?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So I wasn't sure. So you had ground rounds.
Yeah. Yeah. There's one that was in like White Plains or something like that growing up.
I think they had a thing. I don't know about this. Correct me if you know about this, where children could eat their weight. Like they would pay. So let's say.
Yeah. Right? I do remember that.
Like if you were a kid who weighed 40 pounds, your meal was 40 cents.
Yeah.
Which is something that baseball should do if they want to get fans back.
My parents loved that rule, especially since I was still 75 cents when I was 15.
You probably ate a lot. It didn't matter. You just put the weight on.
Yeah. The ground round waiter coming over is like, does this kid have a tapeworm? He just ate his weight in cheeseburgers.
Now I know. Ground round went out of business. Now I know. Joe Prano single-handedly just ate them out of business.
Yeah, exactly.
You eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like, we can't sustain this. These are awful margins.
I was like already growing a mustache. Like I'm just a full-on adult, but I'm like, it's like a solid 87 pounds as a sophomore in high school.
At what point could you start putting on weight? I know that was a problem for a lot of kids. They can't put on weight.
College for me, like legit. They talk about the freshman 15. I had the freshman first semester 35.
Shut up.
I swear to God. I went from, I think it was 135 to 170 my freshman year.
You were not 135. No way.
I've shared the picture before, and I'll share it again. You should see my my senior year playing high school basketball. I just look like a starving African kid in a basketball jersey. I was pushing probably 6'2", 135.
That's unbelievable.
6'2", 135. I was built like a fucking runway model woman.
So you just eat and it wouldn't stick to your body.
Yeah, just eat and eat and eat. And then freshman year of college, my regimen was get up every morning, some sort of like breakfast sandwich or like bagel, cream cheese, coffee. Not even that intense a breakfast. Then lunch. I would go through phases too where I'd eat like the same thing every day. Lunch was either 2 chicken sandwiches and fries from Burger King, or a big Philly cheesesteak from our like cafeteria situation. I went through the double Whopper with cheese, 2 double Whoppers with cheese regimen for a while. We were a Burger King school, and then I literally I came back Christmas break. I think I was 170, which is still like unreasonably small for somebody who's like 6'2", 170.
Yeah, it is. That's nuts. And then obviously all the alcohol intake.
Oh, by the way, in early college, I started smoking weed.
So maybe that helped you put on weight too?
Yeah. Just like chips and snacks and desserts, like all that, just nonstop eating. Oh, and of course, like going out every single night of college and ingesting like, somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 calories worth of beer.
Yeah. I think about that sometimes. Like those are the days where you could just, especially in high school, you could just eat whatever the hell you wanted. And it didn't really affect you. I remember our athletic trainer at my high school saying that, like to the football, like to guys like me. Cause I was always skinny too. He'd say, dude, you can eat whatever you want. If you're trying to put on muscle, like you go home after doing a workout with the football team, eat whatever the hell you want. Cause it's going to turn most likely into muscle. You're not going to get fat at 16, 17 years old.
Yeah.
I just thought of something discussing this. That's what Major League Baseball should do. Again, they're trying to get younger fans excited, and it's opening day and they have such a problem with the younger generation. They need to do or states where it's legal, like a cannabis sponsored game night where, I don't know, you get high and then they have cheap deals at the concession stand.
Well, the problem with Major League Baseball and why it's hard for them to draw fans is they did what you suggested before. They have gone with the ground round deal for kids. They're like, oh, your kid's 45 pounds. It's $45 for their meal.
Yeah, not 45 cents.
No, like, oh, your kid's 85 pounds. Spend $85 feeding him at the ballpark.
Yeah, man. I just read a long article in the Wall Street Journal, just talking about what Manfred's trying to do and some of the changes and all those things. I think it's just so simple. And we always talk about, I don't understand why the professionals don't take from minors. Like, why don't they take the excitement that the minor league, if you go to a minor league game, I was talking to some guys about this yesterday, some older guys that I volunteer with, and they were saying, oh, you ever go down to the minor league ballpark down in Louisville and it's so fun? I'm like, how I just don't understand. It's right in front of baseball's eyes. It's right there.
Yeah.
To make things fun, cheap. Like the Kiss Cam only goes so far. You know what I'm saying? But the stuff that they do at ballparks, I just feel like I would love to be that guy who was in charge of marketing or stunts or whatever and say, guys, there's such simple ideas we can do. And the first thing we can do is make things not extremely expensive.
Yeah. And let's raise the stakes too. They love to do promotional nights. They love to do like Los Dodgers or like Irish night or whatever. I say let's do like LGBTQ plus night, and instead of the kiss cam, just like the scissor cam. Like let's step it up.
Oh, when did we start adding addition subtraction?
By the way, when did I start? When did I become Andy Ruther? I've been so deliriously tired lately when I've been doing these shows. I'm just Ruther. They should scissor.
The scissor cam. The name is gender cam. That'd be a fun one. They show like 5 people and name their gender. Cancel. No, but seriously, when did we start adding plus signs, dude? This whole thing is, dude. This thing, I'm just gonna say, this whole thing is so.
I believe there's an exponent now.
No. That's hilarious. I mean, it's just like at some point.
That's the next Dave Chappelle bit.
That'd be a funny bit.
Like exponents. It was one thing when it was LGBTQ plus. Now it's to a power.
Yeah, you could actually write that bit. You got to slap the mic against you.
Yeah.
Well, look, man, it is here. Opening day is here, and again, it's a day that baseball fans obviously cherish, and a day that excites a lot of teams, like you said, having false optimism.
Hope springs eternal, Andy.
Yeah. Do you think they play too many games?
Yeah, kind of. But it is what it is now. I'm all for like baseball. We've talked about this before. It's such a game of numbers that now, like, everybody compares numbers. You never compare total points scored in the basketball season. They go by average. So, that's kind of like where all the numbers are now. It's like how many over the course of 162. I always thought, like, with everybody hitting
42, how about 140?
144? Yeah.
Right. I think that's a good number. But then again, less games equals less revenue from these guys who want to charge you $10 for a beer.
Yep.
So they're not going to vote for that. But let's jump into it. We have a lot to cover today.
Oh, Joe, you're 42 years old. That Miller Lite will be $42.
Yeah. I mean, it's unbelievable. Dude, but it's like people, we still do it though.
Yeah.
But I me, I'm done with the booze, but I refuse. I pack.
I refuse the booze.
No, I refuse to pay for water. Like, I'm packing. I'm not packing heat. I'm packing agua. That's what I'm doing. I'll do that. I don't care. I'm not giving you my money. But we got a lot to cover today with Major League Baseball preview. The Masters has started. Tug Coker will be doing a solo preview, about a 15-minute preview, which he recorded, discussing Tiger, discussing his odds, who he likes, who he doesn't like. That'll be later in the show.
I put out the Tug signal, and then Tug hit me up. It was honestly the most Joe Prano moment ever. I was like, put out the Tug signal, and then Tug hit me up, and I was like, yeah, come on Dirty Sports and talk Masters. And then he was like, I don't know if I can come on. It might be too late then, blah, blah, blah. Why don't you and I just talk it and we'll send it to Andy? And I was like, I'm really busy. And he was like, I'll just go solo.
Yeah.
So Tug Coker breaking off from the band.
Yeah, he went solo, which is cool. So again, I'll have that later in the show. And if you're on YouTube, that will not be on this broadcast, but that will be edited, the audio version of the show. Well, let's get to baseball. It's here. We're going to have a full 162 games. We managed to survive the lockout. What are you expecting this season? Now, I have the win total in front of me, the projected win totals for all the teams. I have last year's standings. No surprise.
Yeah. You know, the win total, like we just talked about the financials of baseball. We talked about a lot about the financials of baseball this off season, from the lockout standpoint, from, you know, the big spending that's going on. I think there was, you know, a 2-day stretch where the Rangers invested $250 million in players or $500 million in players. And they'll probably finish third, like
Yeah.
it's the Rangers. But I think what you'll see like tying directly back to the economy of baseball is a lot of the teams that are favored to be the best teams of baseball have the highest payrolls.
Sure.
And that's baseball's main issue. But at the same time, it generally does make for an exciting season when the Mets, the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Red Sox, etc. are good.
Yeah. Well, it definitely starts with the team on the highest payroll, which is the Dodgers, who also is projected to win the most games. They're over under right now, as I look at things, 98.5.
It's crazy. The crazy thing about the Dodgers is it's kind of the same old story with the Dodgers in terms of like what I think about them as a team. And that is, I mean, how many years going back on the show, Andy, have I been saying like, you can have the best lineup in baseball, which they do by a long shot. I mean, top to bottom lineup. I believe Will Smith, who's their starting catcher, he slaps, by the way.
Noise.
He is very good. And I believe he is the only player in their projected starting lineup, daily starting lineup, that isn't an all-star at some point in their career. And maybe a multi-time all-star. Like their lineup is really, really good. And their pitching is fine. Their pitching is good enough where with the lineup they have, they have a very, very good shot of winning the NL West once again. Not that they won it last year. But pitching wise, in terms of elite, win getters, elite, guys who can go out and shove in a playoff series, I still think that they lack serious starting pitching depth, which again, I don't think will hurt them in the regular season. But of course, there's always the trade deadline. But the Dodgers don't even have. I don't even think the Dodgers are a trade deadline move away from having an elite pitching staff when it comes to postseason baseball. When it comes to regular season baseball, they're absolutely fine because you lean on the bullpen more. It's the grind, and you can win a lot of games just scoring a lot of runs, which they will. But I do not have the Dodgers winning the World Series.
So they won 106 games last year. As you just stated, they did not win the division. To remind everyone, the Giants won. They won 107 games. So the Dodgers are by far and away projected to win the most games.
How many are they projected to win?
98.5.
That's a lot of wins. It's a lot.
It is.
98.5.
And then after that, you have three teams at 92.5, the Blue Jays, Astros, and Yankees.
You look at that's another team with just the most stacked lineup I've seen in a long time.
Blue Jays.
In a completely different way. Instead of all the veterans that the Dodgers have assembled from around the league, the Blue Jays have added a couple of guys the last few years, but the base for their lineup is all their young stars. So many, former big leaguers, kids. We've talked about this on Dirty Slides a lot. Like my buddy who I have referred to on this show before as Sandy Ruther, the second, fake Ruther that we have. A good friend of mine who's down in Texas. Actually, you met Mark when we went to the Rangers game. He has a football theory that the team with the most, an NFL theory, the team with the most guys that went to the U, he predicts to win every single game, and is often right. There should be a baseball theory. The team with the most former big leaguers kids on it is going to be successful day in and day out. And that is the Blue Jays far and away, especially in their starting lineup. And they're so young and they're so stacked. And they add pitching this offseason, which obviously took away, Gaussman from the Giants. I've got the Toronto Blue Jays winning the AL East.
I don't think that's a crazy surprise, right?
No, but it's only crazy in that they're in a division with the Red Sox and the Yankees, and I think a lot of
the Rays
and a lot of people are predicting them to win it all. I mean, there's a lot of people I have seen who have Jays, Rays, Yankees, Red Sox, Orioles in that order, and I hate sleeping on the Rays because I've done it many years in my baseball pontificating. And last year was a great example. Like I was like, oh, they're going to have a little bit of a World Series hangover. But they were back. But I think I am going Jays, Yankees, Rays, Red Sox, Orioles. But
what a tough division, man.
I know.
What a tough division.
I mean, and every few years, the Red Sox come out of nowhere and win that division, even though no one's predicting them to.
I like when the Blue Jays are good. I like when Toronto.
I like it when Canada's involved.
Yeah, I do. I like to get the guys from up north involved. I like it.
And we know you're a big Drake fan, so you always root for Drake to do well.
I mean, my entire Spotify list, just nothing but Drake mixes.
Drake, coming into baseball season, has to be hopeful. The Jays are good, especially after all four of his favorite college basketball teams going to the Final Four. He missed out on Kentucky, but the rest of his top five college basketball teams.
Yeah. You think I could beat Drake in a game of one-on-one? Who wins me versus Drake in a game of one-on-one?
Drake's younger and blacker.
Okay.
So I'm going Drake. And like maybe taller.
Like, is it close?
I mean, Drake's probably not even that young at this point, right? Like, how old is Drake? I don't think it's close though.
He's 6 foot. He's not that young. He's gonna be 36 this year. He's about 5 years younger than me.
I've never seen Drake shoot a basketball. I mean, you're in pretty good shape. You're doing the cardio. Yeah, maybe it's close.
Yeah, but I don't think the cardio really matters that much when it comes to basketball one-on-one.
I'm going 11-7 Drake.
Okay. We should set this up. You think I can get in touch with Drake's people?
Why not?
In fact, if we really want to make baseball fun again, we do this. We bring out a basketball hoop, 7th inning stretch, Blue Jays game, wherever they're playing now. I don't know what's that place called? Is it the Rogers Center?
Yeah, I believe so.
Is that what it's still called?
Yeah, because Sky Dome was just too cool.
Yeah. Well, I hope the Blue Jays are good. Like I said, I like when they're good. I like when Canada represents.
I think the Yankees have it's so funny too, because I feel like I've been saying this about the Yankees for years as well. Same way, it's almost like these teams are stuck in their ways a little bit. Like every year I say, like, Dodgers lineup's pretty great, but like not enough pitching. Yankees lineup, I mean, we're a couple years removed from me predicting, I believe on this show and on Dirty Slides, that like, how do you build a lineup that's like Judge, Stanton, Sanchez? I know we've gotten to the 2 true outcomes portion of baseball, or 3 true outcomes. I mean, honestly, the Yankees, it's the 2 true outcomes. It's strikeout or home run. And they go and they're adding like Gallo. They're going and they're adding Rizzo. Like, I just feel like so much power, but like, is anybody on that line in that lineup going to hit 300?
What
I know that not a lot of people do anymore.
What you're saying right now is what people believe is the main problem of baseball right now.
Yeah,
the strikeout or home run, and that's creating a lack of fanfare. And obviously, next year, I believe they're going to change how shifting works and make sure that, two guys have to be on each side of the infield, and they're going to change that to hopefully that affects it. But like,
Yeah,
that's part of the
and
problem right now.
we've talked a lot on Dirty Slides about the shift and banning the shift. I'm a I was a ban the I was pro ban the shift, and now I'm a staunch pro ban the shift.
Yeah, I agree.
The game has just changed in pitching so much, and everybody, the problem that with the argument against that I see is everybody talks about like great hitters, like just like Tony Gwynn never needed a shift, or Tony Gwynn wouldn't care if they shifted. Ted Williams, they shifted against him, and look at what he did. It's like, can we not reference like two of the greatest hitters to ever walk the earth, who I believe had like, the eyesight of, one was a legit fighter pilot, and like the other was like, like could have been a military sniper. Like, let's not reference the two of the greatest hitters ever and be like, yeah, they could do it. It's like when a guy's throwing 100 miles an hour on the black on your hands, the idea of like just hit it the other way is, I mean, that's a worse old man take than like the bad boy Pistons would kick LeBron's ass. It's a worse take. Like,
yeah.
There's absolutely nothing to do with a pitch 100 miles an hour on the black with arm side run. Like, it's insanity to like say that. And the shift makes it possible to feed guys balls, inside and make them, hit it where you want them to. And, everybody also references like, oh, well, guys had to hit off Nolan Ryan and guys had to hit off Bob Gibson. It's like, yeah, look at the batting average against Bob Gibson. It wasn't very fucking good.
Well, and again, naming two of the best of all time.
Right. But also naming guys that don't throw hard as the third guy out of the Angels bullpen. Like,
Sure.
Every reliever now throws 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, they got to ban the shift for sure. Now, what about the East on the National League side? Again, very, very competitive. Obviously, the Braves won the World Series. They're projected to, where are the Braves projected? They're projected at 90.5 wins. The Mets are also at 90.5. Phillies 85.5.
Yeah, the Phillies made some moves this offseason, and I hope I don't regret saying this, but I don't really fear the Phillies. I as a Mets fan, I fear the Braves, and I fear injuries more than anything. Obviously, I mean, we're already starting Tyler McGill on opening day, with Scherzer potentially pitching game 2, in inclement weather with a hamstring and blah, blah, blah. Like, we're already, the big two, which is everything, like the Mets absolutely, I think, have what it takes to make a playoff push, regardless of, I think the Mets can be a playoff team, even if they have like some health issues. But when you talk about, and this is the same thing I talked about with the Dodgers, when you talk about how a team can potentially fare in the postseason, I will take a healthy Jacob deGrom and a healthy Max Scherzer over any other 1-2 in baseball. I know that's not saying anything really. Like, I'm not going on a limb and saying it, but it's like, that's what you're built for. The Mets are almost built more for the postseason than they are for the regular season, provided 162 games and 5 months from now, everybody's upright, but I fear injuries and age with the Mets. I don't fear the Phillies. Obviously, no one seems to be, and rightfully so, fearing the Marlins. And yeah, like I fear the Braves because the Braves are young and the Mets are old. But I also, getting to, winning divisions back to back is tough. I mean, obviously not for Braves historically, but getting, the World Series hangover is a thing, just like the Super Bowl hangover, just like the, NBA championship hangover. It's a thing. So I think it's the Mets division to lose with health issues. Otherwise, I think that they're the most talented team in that division. I'm going Mets, Braves, Phillies, Marlins, Nationals.
I knew you'd pick the Mets. Come on, you're gonna be a homer.
Yeah, but I mean, even Vegas has the Mets and Braves at 90.5 wins.
Sure.
I think both those teams make the playoffs, and I'm not super confident that, as is Vegas, that the Mets will be a better regular season team than the Braves this year. I think it's really going to come down to health. And yeah, that's me being a homer, taking a chance, trying to put the good vibes out there. But I think it could easily be Braves, Mets, Phillies, Marlins, Nationals. But
what's the first Mets game you're seeing?
The day game against the San Francisco Giants, April 21st. I will be flying on a red eye out of Los Angeles on April 20th after I do a show at Soho House in West Hollywood.
And great plug again.
Yeah. And flying on a red eye, landing in Newark, where my brother works, hoping we're trying to schedule in that he works an overnight, picks me up at Newark Airport. We go direct from airport. I'm gonna have to wear this hat on the plane. Might even have to wear a jersey on the plane.
I think you should go full jersey, cleats and all.
Yeah,
I'm talking glove. I'm talking stirrups. I'm talking you're sitting in your seat with
eye black on.
Yes, go full jersey on the. Can you imagine if you were on a flight across the country?
Some guy next to me is on it using his Wi-Fi. He's like, some guy's doing Keith Hernandez cosplay on my flight.
Keith Hernandez cosplay. That would actually be hilarious.
I want, Andy, I was just thinking about this the other day. I might even be too old at this point, but I feel like with the magic of Hollywood, I mean, they've got they had the guy playing Jerry West, who's in his 50s, like in a throwback, like on the court. You know what I mean? They had him in a jersey. But since we have author Jeff Pearlman, hopefully coming up on this show, he also wrote the 1986 Mets book. I think that's got to be the next HBO Max Pearlman adaptation. And I think through camera trickery, where we put a jersey on me where all the logos are backwards, and then we flip the film, I play Keith Hernandez, and we do that so that I can seem like I'm lefty. We'll do a little camera trickery for my batting stance and for my glove work. But I will do my own stunts when it comes to Keith Hernandez's cocaine use.
Okay. Who's playing Lenny Dykstra in this?
That's a great one. That's a great question. It should be somebody like it should be Timothy Chalamet. Like, you know what I mean?
What about Stifler? What about Stifler?
Stifler would be good too.
Stifler?
I was thinking about
Sean William Scott.
I was just thinking about somebody like, so not Lenny, like going full method. Timothy Chalamet spends like the next year living in like a trailer park down in Garden Grove to get in shape,
Yeah. That'd be a salacious TV show, man.
Yeah.
The 86 Mets. But I really do want you to go in a full baseball jersey, including gloves and cleats, on a plane. And I want you doing signs. So instead of calling the flight attendant over, you're like, it's almost like Naked Gun style, where you're doing signs to call them over. Here's what's crazy. You love the Mets more than you love any other team.
Yeah.
I think you don't want to admit it, but just from knowing you, obviously you love the Giants and the Knicks, but you change when it comes to baseball season and seeing the Mets, not just in New York or LA, you change and you adapt your schedule to where the Mets are playing.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm going to New York April 21st to May 5th. I land on the 21st. I leave on May 5th. When I land on the 21st, I'm going straight to Citi Field. May 4th, I'm going to another day game before I fly out on May 5th. And now, will I go to a game in between? Maybe, maybe. But I'm in San Diego for shows in early June. Mets at Padres. This is what we do. Stand up in stadiums.
Have you seen the Mets in Miller Park?
I have not seen the Mets in Miller Park. If everybody wants to tweet or Instagram at Laughing Tap Comedy Club or the Improv in Milwaukee and let them know that I should come to see the Mets in Miller Park in September. I've looked at the dates, Andy.
See?
I know when it is. Mid-September in Milwaukee. I would love to be there. Tweet at Miller Lite to bring me there. Tweet at Miller Park to bring me there, formerly Miller Park. Tweet at Laughing Tap Comedy Club. Tweet at the Milwaukee Improv. Let them know. Joe Prano needs to come to the home of the greatest and original light beer to see his Mets play. I mean, honestly, I can't even think of anything more exciting.
Yeah, I mean, that would be your happy place. Drinking a Miller Lite in the former Miller Park, watching the Mets play.
In the shadows of the Miller Brewery, having a cheese covered brat.
Yeah, they get good brats there.
Oh yeah, I haven't been. I don't know.
Yeah, guys, baseball's here, which definitely means it's time for Miller Lite. In fact, today, I don't know if you know this, Joe, is National Beer Day.
I do know that.
What a perfect day. And I'm sure baseball didn't plan this out, but what a great day to have opening day, because nothing goes together more than Miller Lite and baseball, right?
Absolutely.
What a great pairing for National Beer Day. Guys, Miller Lite is brewed for taste. It hits different than other light beers. Since 1975, Miller Lite has been the beer with taste you can depend on. No games, no gimmicks, just a great beer for people who like beer, people like you and your friends. So this baseball season, go to some games, drink some Miller Lites, share some memories with your friends. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/dirty sports to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
It's like Miller Lite's like the Julio Franco of beers. It hits different.
Yeah, I like that.
Different.
I like that. Well, speaking of the Brewers,
and it's just been dominating for decades at this point.
Sure. Speaking of the Brewers, let's jump into the NL Central. They won the division last year, 95 wins, projected to win the most games this year, 89.5. But the Central's a down division,
Yeah.
You have them projected at 89.5, the Cardinals at 85.5, both the Reds and Cubs at 74.5, and of course the dumpster fire Pirates way under that. As a Reds fan, this is why the unloading was so disappointing, because that I would call is a win. Even with last year's Reds squad, like that's a winnable division.
Yeah.
The Reds were in first place.
And I'm going to say it. I'm going to make the prediction that I make a lot of years, but I think the Cardinals win the division. Yeah. I think the Cardinals win that division. The Cardinals, they've made some big moves over the last few years, but what the Cardinals do is the Cardinals just consistently, try to put a middle of the road team on the field, and yet they compete. And the Brewers have been good the last few years. They've had a nice little, uptick in the quality of baseball team that they're putting out there. But I'm gonna say it right now. This is the Miller Park curse. Getting rid of the name Miller Park, I think they're gonna look back on this and regret it. The first year they were Miller Parkless. Yelich is injured for a lot of the year. I just don't see it. I'm going, and I won't even say, because of my love and devotion to the good folks at Miller Lite, I won't even say the name of the ballpark in St. Louis. We'll just call it Cardinals Watered Down Park. So we'll call it that.
It's got a great name to it.
Yeah. Watered Down Stadium, St. Louis, Missouri. But I'm going Cardinals, Brewers, Cubs, Reds, and Pirates.
You hate to hear it as a Cincinnati Reds fan.
Yeah, you do hate to hear it. I hate to hear it. I would so love that red on red, like an inner blood beef. I'd love a Reds Cardinals to the wire. You know, I'd love a Reds Cubs. I know you guys have a nice little rivalry there too.
Yeah. Well, look,
but unfortunately, I think you're going to be making that. What's that? What's the road that gets you between? What's the turnpike? What's the interstate that gets you between you and Pittsburgh?
It's a good question. I did it, and I don't even know. I have no clue. Did it once. I don't know. I just know the Ohio River flows. You know, the multiple rivers flow there. Oh, well, what I do know is if the Reds are going to compete, they need like young guys.
Free Joey Votto.
Yeah. I'll say this though about Joey Votto, and I love Joey Votto, and I think he's great. I think he's just a great dude beyond baseball. But like those contracts, you talk about the Cardinals. Looking back, the Cardinals were so smart. He'd already won 2 World Series with them. Obviously, he's going to retire in the Hall of Fame, or I'm sorry, he'll be a Hall of Famer with them, Albert Pujols. But they didn't give him the contract, and I love Votto. But like, look at the Reds, and I know it's not even that much now. Like looking at today's modern contracts, but that 10-year, $225 million, which was the biggest at the time, like that's not a good deal for a team like the Reds to make.
Yeah,
and those things.
I mean, it's a great deal for the team like the Reds to make, but not if you're going to cry poor.
Sure, exactly. So, look, 74.5. That's an interesting bet though for the Reds. I want to say over that, but their schedule is brutal. I think 11 of their first 13 games are on the road, and they open with the Braves, the Dodgers, the Padres. It's a tough start for them.
And baseball is, I mean, there's obviously been exceptions to the rule over the years. The Miracle Mets, that Nationals team from a few years ago. But I feel like, and I'm not, football's a little bit different because we know, like, I think if you lose your first 3 games, your chances of making the playoffs go to almost 0. But it's almost more important in baseball than any of the sports that have like longer seasons that you start hot, like, or at least in my life, I feel like I've always seen teams that you're like, no one's kind of expecting. They come out and they win, 12 of their first 15 games. And then it's like, oh shit. Why didn't we know so-and-so? Why didn't we know the 2021 Giants were going to be good?
Well, because momentum is real, even though analytics dorks want to tell you it's not. When you start winning and you have confidence, it changes your entire psyche, right? As a team, as a player. I couldn't agree more. It's always those teams. We've seen it, in the last 10 years. I think Kansas City did it, right? Maybe a couple times. One of the times they won the World Series where suddenly they're hot. Nobody expects it.
Andy, we don't talk about the Royals World Series win in this family.
Okay. Wow.
That the only thing that happened in 2015 is we all went to New York. I filmed the comedy special. Joe Prano Takes the Stand. I threw out a first pitch. The Mets weren't in first place at the time. They immediately skyrocketed to first place, won the division, won the National League, and went to the World Series. After that, it's hard to find any sort of historical record of what actually occurred in that World Series, and therefore we do not speak of it like it is fact. You can say whatever you want in theory.
And let's not forget, dirtballs met our families, which was a whole thing. That was a whole thing for dirtballs for us to actually really meet dirtballs for the first time, and also our families, because that was, That was something else.
Yeah. I'll never forget Walt and the dirt balls at
Oh
City
my
Field.
God. I believe Walt referred to it as, I can't believe these guys. They want to take Snelfies with me. My dad was calling them Snelfies. Sounds like a Lord of the Rings character. A Snelfie? What the hell are you talking about? Yeah, that was pretty legendary. We have some great pictures from that. I do agree with you. I think the Cardinals win the division. And I hate to say it because they always do, man. Like you said, that is just a well-run organization. And as much as I can't stand the Cardinals, I dislike them more than any other team in the division, probably because they always win. And
Yeah.
I had to go to school there for 5 years and deal with the winning. I agree with you. I think they win. Now moving to the AL, do you like the White Sox to repeat?
I do. I like the White Sox to repeat. What? Give me the games breakdown.
Sure. So where are the White Sox? Let's see here. They are projected 91.5.
Okay. I like that.
And then after that, you have the Twins at 80.5. The Twins made some nice offseason moves.
Twins 80.5.
Yeah. The Guardians, the Cleveland Guardians, that's going to be tough to get used to. 75.5.
Twins made some nice moves. I like the Twins to be competitive. I like that division to be closer than the 10 games that they're predicting between those top two teams. I do like the White Sox to repeat. You know, they were my last year. I might have been this. I've done that before on the show where I'm a year early. My prediction last year was Mets, White Sox. I don't know if I run that back, but I don't think I am running that back, and I'll tell you why soon. But I like the White Sox to win that division, but I think that the Twins are going to put up a bit of a fight. And then I think it'll fall off. I mean, yeah, I think the Guardians are probably the next best. At least, you know, trying to keep some of their young talent around. I mean, obviously they let Lindor go to the Mets last year, but they don't seem to be in full Cincinnati Reds mode. Like fuck everybody. You know, they're making a signing just the other day with Ramirez to keep him around, and yeah. So I'm going to go White Sox, Twins, Guardians. I don't know. How do they shake out? I guess we'll go Detroit.
Tigers projected 78.5. I mean, they're projected to win more games than the Guardians.
Okay.
Which is interesting. And then Kansas City obviously is expected to be pretty bad again, although 75.5.
Yeah. I mean, I think I like that order, but yeah, I can see the race for first being a little bit more competitive than predicted, and I could see the race for third, you know, being a little bit surprising. But let's be honest, you know, at best, two teams make the playoffs out of that division.
So you like the Dodgers to win the West?
I do. And you know,
too.
I have not liked them to win the West like every year of this run. In fact, I think last year I either predicted the Padres to overtake them or I predicted that it would be close. I don't think anybody saw the Giants coming. I think this year, though, I think their lineup is too stacked not to shake out in their favor over the course of 162 games. But I do not like the Dodgers to appear in the World Series on behalf of the National League.
Well, they're expecting a drop off on the Giants, a big drop off. You know, the projections have the Padres winning more games. Now, obviously, Tatis Jr. is hurt.
I fear this Padres team too is like, I like the Padres. I like a lot of their players. I like what they're putting together there, but I do fear that they're a team that had everybody thought they were there to snatch it from the Dodgers and they didn't. And now they have injury issues and positional issues and pitching issues. And, do they just like never achieve the greatness that people saw from them? I am going to predict that the Dodgers win it. The Padres do finish second, but I think the Giants will be right there with them.
So the West, obviously the contenders are going to be the Astros, the Mariners, Athletics. Nobody really expects the Angels to do, although the Angels are at 84.5. So
yeah, give me top to bottom win totals, because this is by far the most interesting division.
Astros 92.5.
I'm going to say it.
Angels and Mariners both.
I'm going to say it. The Astros, the death of the Astros is finally here.
So Mariners, Angels 84.5. Oakland 70.5. Rangers 74.5.
Wow. This is tough. This division is so tough. The Rangers spent so much money, and they're still predicted to have 74 wins. It's unbelievable. I'm going to do it, Andy. Mariners win the division.
Well, I was about to say that too. I'm rooting for them because I like Jesse Winker, and obviously that was one of the big trades. I'll play a call. Speaking of the Mariners, I'll play a call from CT.
Gentlemen, CT formerly from Seattle, lifelong Seattle Kraken fan, but even longer lifelong Seattle Mariners fan. Our first game got postponed in Minneapolis.
What are you saying, Brano?
CT pulled over to make this call. I know, because I can still hear his blinker.
Yeah, I was going to say. Another classic dirtball call.
He's like, I have to pull over and immediately call the Dirty Sports.
Yeah.
He's just on the side of the road, blinker on.
Got his hazards on.
Due to possible snow. So I'm going to propose that no baseball games be played in outdoor northern stadiums until June. Either play it inside or build a roof on your stadium, Minneapolis. Get with it.
Okay, that's about on top of that. That's a bad take. June?
Till June.
June? I hope you're joking.
I was gonna say it would be, it would be cool if they could just play the warm weather ones there. Like I'm in favor of them having cold postponements, like not playing the game in extra cold, especially with the way we baby these pitchers anyway. Instead of just rain or snow postponement, I'm gonna say cold. Like, we don't play baseball games in under 45-degree weather or under 50-degree weather, but no outdoor baseball games till June. On behalf, I can't believe I'm saying this to a Hall of Fame dirtball. Kill yourself. Baseball, going to a warm weather baseball game in April and May is like, I live for it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's cold up there, but the thing he probably doesn't get, like, Midwest weather is crazy, man. It might be 45 one day and literally 70 the next day.
Yeah.
You can't just say no baseball in Minnesota.
There's one year I went home to New York for opening day, and I think it was like -4.
Yeah. I mean, come on. All right. What else has he got to say?
But anyways, I'm really trying not to get my hopes up about the Mariners this season. I'm not sure how much you guys have looked into it, but we have a great, young, talented team.
Yeah, they do.
So my question is, who are some sleeper MLB teams that you like to maybe make a playoff run down the line or sneak into the playoffs? Again, as a Mariners fan, I'm trying not to get my hopes dashed, but I'd love to see us end our playoff drought. Julio Rodriguez, Rookie of the Year. Peace.
J-Rod. Julio Rodriguez is going to be really good. I like this Mariners team. It might be too soon. They might be too young. I low-key like what the Angels have done too. I'm excited to see Thor down there in Anaheim.
Is it true that they're doing fentanyl night in Anaheim?
I believe it is true. Yeah. Too soon. There's still an active investigation happening. I like what the Angels are doing, but the Angels always disappoint. unless Tony Danza's in the dugout, the Angels are not going to come through. Right, a young Joseph Gordon-Levitt, a young Matthew McConaughey. I'm just, here's the thing, like the A's every year sneaky, like I like bet over 70.5 wins for the A's, like bet over that.
Yeah,
I
agree.
pound that. Like, can you bet over 80 wins? Like, find a book that'll give you odds on over 80 wins. Like the A's, everybody's like, they're selling everything. The great A's sell. How many great A's sell-offs have we had in our lifetime right before they make the playoffs? Like, it's unbelievable. So, like, I'm not sleeping on the A's. The Angels, I think, have done some nice things, but the Angels always seem to like disappoint with the big free agent moves. But I do think it's not the Astros again this year. So I'm going Mariners to win the division, but I won't even predict the division in order because I have no idea how it'll go. But I'm predicting not the Astros to win, and my prediction, although it could be any of the other teams, is that it is the Mariners who dethrone them.
I like it.
It might be too soon. It might be too soon. I do, when it comes to my baseball predictions, I am usually a year early. So maybe it's Mariners next year, but I think that they'll be in the mix. And honestly, how can you sleep on the rain? Like, we're just going to sleep on the Rangers entirely with all the money they spent?
I have another baseball promotion.
I think the Rangers could win it too. I have no idea what the order of the West will be.
You're referencing Angels in the outfield. Here's a good one for the Angels. It'll be Angels in the outfield night, where you take a mind-altering substance, whether that's mushrooms, LSD, cannabis, edible,
fentanyl.
No, I wasn't going to say that. I don't know what fentanyl does to you. And it's Angels in the outfield night.
I think you do. I think you do know what it does to you.
Well,
it turns you into an angel in the outfield.
I see where you're going. I wasn't seeing that. Okay. What I was going to say is you get so baked, or, you get so strung out.
Strung out. I love that we're going to be under a fucking bridge outside the fucking stadium in Anaheim.
You think you see
sucking dick for crack.
My point is, you think you see an angel in the outfield, Hey, take some mind-altering drugs.
Hey, man. Come find me under the halo. I'll suck your dick for a little fentanyl.
I guess strung out wasn't the best way to put it. By the way, after living in Venice Beach for all those years, I was telling someone yesterday, like I basically got my doctorate
in homelessness.
And people strung out. Like when I see somebody completely strung out, I'm just like, and like somebody was saying, oh, they're not. I go, yeah, they are. I was debating with somebody. Like, trust me, I know when someone is strung out on drugs. I saw it every single day for like 13 years. I know. Don't debate with me whether someone's strung out on drugs. How dare you? Okay, World Series. Actually, before that, ALCS, NLCS.
Okay.
You don't have to do this. I'm just tossing it out there.
All right. This is tough. Okay. Let's start with the AL. I'm going to do, because I was a year early on the White Sox last year, I'm going to have them to the ALCS, but they're going to face the team that that makes the World Series out of the AL. I'm going Blue Jays.
Yeah.
White Sox, ALCS, Blue Jays to the World Series. Nice. NLCS. Oh, man. I don't know. It's going to be so hard. I'm going NLCS.
I already know what you're going to say.
Mets.
Dodgers, aren't you?
Braves.
Okay. Ooh, keeping it in the East.
NL East, Mets, Braves. Mets to the World Series.
Saw this. Just say it, Joe.
Mets, Blue Jays, World Series. Do I have to predict a winner?
Well, you're going to say the Mets.
All health, barring injuries, I do believe Mets have a good enough offensive lineup to get that far. And I do believe that they have the postseason pitching. Honestly, that's what the postseason is about for me. I like. If you told me DeGrom, I mean, the guy's already out for 4 weeks to start the season, so it's barring injury. But I'm going to do it for Mets, Blue Jays. Mets win the World Series. Let's go, Mets! Let's go! I'm in. I just bought all the. I just sold myself on it right now. Now I'm like, now we're winning the World Series.
Does Drake throw a ceremonial pitch?
Yeah, but for which team? We'll never know.
I think if that happens, the Mets have to bring back 50 Cent.
I think that, yeah. I think
right.
If, being that Drake is the Toronto celebrity, right? I think the Mets.
Which is crazy for the record. There's been a lot of people come out of Toronto and like Drake just takes all that. Like nobody talks about any other people from Toronto.
I think if they do like a Drake game 1, the Mets just have to keep coming with like better rappers for like the entire series. Just like Nas, boom. 50 Cent, boom. Just dropping it. Have the entire Wu-Tang Clan throw out a pitch together.
Ooh.
Like it's like a high school relay drill,
Or they find New York rappers.
They start in center field. They doing cutoff throws all the way to the plate.
Because I feel like Drake's had a lot of beefs. Use New York-based rappers that Drake's had beefs with.
Yeah.
Which I assume some of those guys you already mentioned he's had beefs with.
I'm sure he has.
He's had beefs with 50 Cent, right?
I don't know, but I'm assuming.
Yeah. I would like the Blue Jays to go far. It's been a long time, man.
Are you making NLCS, ALCS, and World Series predictions?
I mean, sure.
Let's go.
I don't follow as closely as you. I was already rooting for the Blue Jays in the. You know what? I'm gonna do it. Let's say this one's for UCT. Let's say Blue Jays Mariners.
Ooh, I like it.
And then we'll say Blue Jays in the World Series. I was already leaning towards that. And then ALCS. Let's say
I have my fingers crossed for a prediction here.
I just feel like it's lame if I pick the Mets.
I mean, listen, if you don't believe, as we say over in Queens, you gotta believe, Andy. You gotta believe.
I'm gonna name a team that, again, they're always there and I can't stand it. Let's say in the NLCS, Cardinals.
I almost said it myself.
Dodgers.
Wow, I'm so glad that the Dodgers were picked. Let's go.
What about this? Blue Jays Cardinals World Series.
Ooh, Redbirds, Bluebirds.
That's what I'm saying. A bird battle.
Yeah.
Battle of the birds.
A Bloods and Crips of the aviary community.
Yeah. I bet that's never happened before. It definitely hasn't. Not in the World Series.
No. Blue Jays faced the Phillies and the Braves. Yeah. Could be fun. And I feel like that, talk about two different types of people from St. Louis, people from Toronto. Could be good. Now, Nelly will have to throw out the first pitch for that one.
Dude, Nelly was nice. Nelly was nice.
And then I guess for the rest of the series, just whoever else was in the St. Lunatics.
Hey, bring out Chingy. Man, they got some. Bring out Jaquan. You're like, who am I talking about? There were some rappers.
Bring out a young slew era Andy Ruther.
Ah, dude, the young slew era Andy Ruther. Loved Nelly.
If the Cardinals ever asked you to throw out a first pitch, we've both thrown a major league baseball stadium first pitch? Would you do it?
It's a great question.
Would they be like, it would be like, Andy Ruther of Dirty Sports, we just found out that you went to St. Louis University. We'd love for you to come and throw out a pitch here at watered down Pisswater Stadium.
It'd be pretty tough, man. That'd be ultimate sellout move. I don't think I could.
If the Braves or the Yankees or somebody asked me to do it, I would just throw it as far as I could into the stands. I would like aim for like this.
Well, yeah,
the third deck behind home plate.
That's what I'm saying. You have to do some kind of troll move if you're going to do it. I mean, look, I went to my fair share of games. Don't get me wrong. I've said that. I like baseball.
Yeah,
and Cardinals have a lot. Cardinals have a lot of day games. We cut class, hop on the Metro link, takes you right down to Busch Stadium. And I mean, I've shared that story about my fraternity working the concession and just getting like bombed while we're selling hot dogs, and which again is one of the most reckless moves ever. A ballpark is going to let a bunch of frat kids, like 20 frat kids, work a giant concession stand so they can get money for their fraternity formal. What could possibly go wrong? And have them show up 2 hours before the game.
You're like, as a local fraternity, we're going with ground round pricing, and your beer costs as many dollars as girls you've raped this year. Date rapes 50 cents off.
Unbelievable.
Sick, bro. How many people have you sexually assaulted this year?
Stop. That woman coming up to me, you're making too many hot dogs. You've made too many. Me just bombed, like blackout bombed by the third inning. I'm probably one of the few people who ever got kicked out of doing free work at a ballpark. I got kicked out for how drunk I was. He's just like, you got to go, dude. You got to go.
Amazing drunken Andy Ruther tales.
Dude, it's its own podcast.
Tales from the Dent.
If I, and I've talked to my St. Louis friends about this, I was like, guys, if I came back for a week and you reminded me, because they wouldn't want to be on it, but just if we sat down with an audio recorder and you remind me of when I did this,
they're all doing it with like the voice thing.
They're like, I cooked too many hot dogs at Busch Stadium. He put 3 up his ass before he put them on the grill. Please leave my name out of it.
You're like, no problem, Cutter.
That's so funny to me. It's funny because he didn't even go to school with me. You know, he didn't even go to college with me, but but yeah, you got me thinking. I mean, dude, I showed up to, and then we'll move on to the Masters.
What's amazing is I said Cutter, but I'm sure the guys who went to school you had like ridiculous Midwest frat boy names, you know?
No, yeah.
Like jerks and
my one buddy
and meat sauce and
my one buddy's Hot Carl.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, named after the dirty sexual thing. You're right. The names are just.
Dude, I remember like it was yesterday. I was at the stadium working the hot dog stand with Hot Carl and Dirty Sanchez, grilling up dogs. So we got too drunk. We got kicked out.
Dude, I was the guy on campus, and that's not a big school, right? Like St. Louis U, small Catholic school. It was probably, I don't know, combined 6,000-7,000 students when I was there. Undergrad, graduates. I was that guy who like I'd walk down campus, again, not a big campus, and I'd always have that. I like have my backpack on, and I'd have that fear, like, what did I do last night at the party or at the bar? You know, like you're walking past other kids, and you're like, oh, I'm that fucking guy, man. What to do? I brought a 24-pack of beer into the library once just to be a jackass, and just was cracking them open just to be that dude when everyone else was studying for finals.
It was finals week. Me and date rape Danny went down to the library with a bunch of
stop. Date rape Danny. You're out of control. All right.
He was like, you bring the beer. I'm going to give a bunch of chicks a shocker.
I did bring porn into the library once too. This is like just thought I was funny. Like, dude, here's some porn magazines. I'm gonna flip through a high society in a penthouse where you're trying to study. I was, dude, I was such a douche looking back on it. Like such a frat boy douche. Oh, out of control. Well, speaking of frat boy douches, Tiger Woods is is back.
Tiger Woods wishes he was a frat boy douche.
Yeah.
He couldn't get into a frat in Stanford, so he's been acting like a frat boy douche ever since.
True. So the Masters are here. They're currently playing right now. Obviously, the big news is that Tiger is playing, and all the Tiger stands love that. You know, you and I have obviously made Tiger jokes, more and more jokes about the stands over the years.
Yeah. Hey, this is a great example of everything that I hate about Tiger Woods and Tiger Woods fans and Tiger Woods stands and Tiger Woods fandom in general is, you know, we've seen so many incredible sports stories over the years. You know, people come back from cancer. People come back from, you know, devastating injury. I mean, Alex Smith, they thought they were going to have to amputate his leg. He comes back to play in an NFL game.
Which they did think possibly about Tiger as well.
Right.
But different circumstances.
But Tiger did it because he got zonked on fentanyl or whatever, that he went for a sleeping joyride through the windy streets of Palos Verdes. He was the presenting host of a golf tournament in Southern California, then went back to his hotel, got up in the morning, was still conked out on Ambien or whatever cocktail of drugs, you know, Andy's frat boys put together for one of their parties. And then he goes for a drive. A billionaire can't get somebody to drive him to the
therein lies my problem.
Golf course.
80 miles an hour, speed limit's 45. Like, therein lies my problem is that nobody. This is the second time, right?
And he's done it before.
That's what I'm saying. Like no one's quite. Look, we all make mistakes. I was just talking about how big of a douche I was, and I did reckless things. But you know what? I stopped doing them.
Yeah, like, remember, there's like, everybody loved the Josh Hamilton story, you know?
Yeah,
Josh Hamilton, down and out of baseball with substance abuse problems, comes back, wins an MVP. It's not the same story if he celebrates the MVP by getting addicted to meth again, and then comes back to win a second MVP. You're just like, oh, this guy's just an asshole.
Yeah,
you know. But that's exactly what Tiger did. We already have the Tiger comeback from the pills and the booze. Now everybody's crowded around to watch the Tiger come back from the pills and the booze. At some point, we all just have to be like, Tiger Woods doesn't give a fuck about himself, his family, his fans, golf, right? So why, if you're a golf fan, do you care?
Because you know why. We both know, because he's that important to the sport, which I think says something more about the sport. Like,
right. But also it is, you know, he's that important to the sport. And I get how great he was and to look back on it. But like, he took the sport to the place. And this has always been my issue. So it's like, go celebrate the other people who play golf because of Tiger, who are now great and doing it right. And it's like, this is, you know, I am newly into playing golf or really watching or caring about golf. But like, I mean, you hear the Bryson DeChambeau is a douche, I hate him, I can't watch him thing. I mean, on a douche level, Tiger Woods, like, Bryson DeChambeau is not in Tiger Woods' orbit. Tiger Woods is, I mean, talk about an exponentially more douchey.
Yeah. No, I get like again, I don't care. Dude, you love Tiger Woods all you want. But again, it's just trying to highlight to me what always seemed ridiculous as far as who we're choosing to like and who we're choosing to dislike as far as athletes are concerned. But Tiger
stan.
a huge Tiger stan. You know, he wanted to give his opinion on everything, which I love. And obviously we wish we could have done it together, but it didn't work out that way. But Tug sent me some solo audio of Tiger being back, of his predictions for the Masters.
And did you listen to it?
I did.
I can't wait to listen to it. Obviously, I won't have a chance to listen to it until after it's aired for everybody else. But is Tug openly and actively pulling for Tiger?
Well, Tug's being realistic that, guys, we're talking about winning, like, or even coming close. Like, let's just make the cut. It is remarkable, his turnaround from the injury. No one's denying that. What Tiger's done, it's remarkable from the severity of the injury to be playing. That is remarkable.
Let's just remember he's playing golf, though.
True.
Like, golf is the sport I took up because I was injured.
Good point.
Now, I struggle with that every time I play golf, but it's like, first of all, I'm not Tiger Woods. And second of all, you know, it is golf. It's still golf.
Yeah. Well, let's get the Tug's take on everything, and you
Tug's take,
and you guys can enjoy this. And also, this will
Tug
be on,
Life.
Yeah, this will be on his podcast that he puts out occasionally called Tug Life. Which, for the next episode, he told me, if you want to subscribe to that, we'll be celebrating the 10-year anniversary of him playing Larry Bird in Broadway, and he's going to bring in some of his fellow actors and people that he worked on that show with. So that will be on the Tug Life podcast. So check that out as well. So here's Tug Coker's take on the Masters, Tiger coming back, and people he likes to win. All right, Joe, I know you have to get your butt moving to Colorado, where people can see you live at the following locations.
Yes, we are. Eddie and I are leaving today. We're going to try to make it to somewhere around Moab before the drugs start to take hold today. And then tomorrow we are going to arrive in Steamboat Springs, where we will be performing tomorrow and Saturday at Schmiggity's. And then we'll probably be shredding some gnar on Saturday during the day, maybe Sunday. I don't know. Eddie's going to be our ski and snow Sherpa in terms of where we're going. But we'll be around Steamboat Friday, Saturday. And then we will head to Aspen for a couple days of just maxing and relaxing like the supremely wealthy that we are. You know, we're just going to hobnob with the other supreme wealthy people in Aspen and just have a good couple days of shredding the gnar there and chilling in Aspen. So if you're in the Aspen area, just keep an eye out for me. I am Colorado ready, Andy. Hold on. I've got this. You know, Billy Crystal didn't do it in City Slickers, but I've got the Mets hat and the cowboy hat. Let's go.
Wow.
We're in Colorado and up here.
You got a cowboy. When'd you get the cowboy hat?
Yeah, I've had it for a little while, but we're gonna be rocking this around Colorado. Go to Aspen, you know, wear a couple like a $8,000 pair of cowboy boots with this. Maybe hit some Hunter S. Thompson tourism sites. Maybe go to the Woody Creek Tavern. You know, maybe eat and drink at the J Bar. So
is it true that you and Eddie are going to try to reenact the scene from Dumb and Dumber going to Aspen?
Absolutely.
You're going to be on his back, frozen.
In Steamboat, I believe it's Saturday or Sunday, they have one of those pond skims, and you know, people dress up for them. And I was like, we should Dumb and Dumber it and dress up in the Dumb and Dumber vibe. And then I thought maybe also I should do just get the Borat G-string.
Oh yeah,
with the mustache and do that. So we think we're going to do pond skimming Saturday or Sunday, and then Aspen for a couple days, and then the Vail comedy show Thursday, possibly Wednesday as well. If unlike Andy predicted with his curse that it will not sell out on Thursday, we are potentially adding a show on Wednesday, and then Friday and Saturday in Denver. So Schmiggity's in Steamboat, Vail comedy show in Vail, Denver Improv in Denver, a couple days of maxing and relaxing in Aspen in between. So come out and play.
Yeah. See Joe in a cowboy hat.
Yeah.
Well, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at The Dirty Sports. Feel free to tag us drinking those fresh and cold Miller Lights. Hashtag National Beer Day. Let us know, guys. We always love getting the tweets and Instagram posts from Miller Lite. And that's pretty much it. We're going to wrap it up. Joe's got to get moving. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. Give Tug some love as well on Twitter at Tug Coker. Let him know you appreciate that he took the time to do that for the show. And we're going to get him on for the record. We talked about bringing him back on for NBA playoffs when our time works. And he's been watching, he's watched some of Winning Time as well. So we will look forward to doing that as well. All right, guys, that is our show. Much love to everyone who listens and supports. You guys have a great weekend. And as always, stay dirty.